Hey everyone, thank you all for listening to our podcast, The Molar Bears. Yes, we are the Molar Bears, and we like to explore all things chemistry. For today's podcast, we will venture into the world of mechanochemistry. For those who are unfamiliar with this specific field, this is known as the study of how mechanical forces, kinetics, and thermodynamics applied upon certain reactants and substrates can cause a reaction to occur. In other words, when a scientist adds different chemicals to a vessel, they can shake, grind, and heat these chemicals to form desired products. This seems cool and maybe a little odd, right? This may sound strange, but we do use these processes in our everyday lives. For example, the paint on the walls in the room you are in was most likely mixed utilizing mechanochemistry instrumentation, so that they can incorporate those different colors together to obtain the desired hue. Who here craves matcha tea? For those tea lovers out there, matcha is grinded using some sort of mortar and pestle, and then heated with water to brew that delicious drink. Besides daily applications as those, we want to investigate the mechanochemical instrumentation that chemists use to run their reactions. Now, there are a variety of different mechanochemical techniques, but we have two instruments on this show today with us that are going to tell you briefly about who they are and what they do. The two instruments today are the ball mill and the atomic force microscope, or for short, AFM. Without further ado, let's move our attention to the amazing AFM and beautiful ball mill. Tell me a little about yourselves. What is it that you both specialize in?
Well, I'm the atomic force microscope, and I do exactly what my name implies. I use a sharp tip to apply force to surfaces to measure their topography and get images with nanoscale resolution. I also measure different properties of surfaces like friction, adhesion, magnetic properties, and things like stiffness and elasticity.
That's great. Now, over to you, ball mill.
So I'm a ball mill, meaning that you can fill up my jar with different reagents, liquid or solid, along with some balls, and I will shake things up until chemicals are ground into a fine powder or paste. Basically, my job is to make particles smaller, finer, and more reactive.
That's awesome. Now, moving on to the scientific process, what is your role in running reactions?
Well, even though I'm an atomic force microscope, I'm not even technically used to initiate reactions, even though I still think I'm important to mechanochemistry. Instead, I can be used to observe chemical reactions before, during, and after they take place, again, at nanoscale resolution, which I think is super cool. And I kind of lied a little bit. I can manipulate Singer molecules to encourage reactions, but I don't think many people actually take advantage of that.
That's fascinating. Now, how about you, ball mill?
Using my rather simple technology, chemists can carry out many common transformations without the use of solvent. Pretty much any reaction that you can think of, whether that's a substitution reaction, a Diels-Alder, or Suzuki coupling, can be carried out in a ball mill using little to no solvent.
Now, this question is for you, ball mill. Green chemistry is a field rising in popularity to promote environmentally friendly reaction syntheses. For our general audience out there, how is the mechanochemical alternative for reaction syntheses more beneficial fiscally and environmentally, along with any other benefits you specifically bring to the lab?
Wow, well, there are many benefits to running reactions with little to no solvent, and the rising popularity of green chemistry is really exciting. Solvents can be quite expensive and generate a lot of waste, and this waste can pose significant environmental risks, especially in the case of halogenated solvents such as DCM, for example.
I don't know about everyone else, but to me, that is such a cool concept that placing reagents in a mechanochemical machine can have that many positive effects. Now, that I've got the bulky questions out of the way, what is one word that you would use to describe what you do that is uniquely catered to your abilities, and why would you choose that word? Let's start with AFM.
The word I choose is maps. The topography that I map is displayed on a computer screen, letting the user know where they are on a surface.
Thanks for another great answer. Now, what are your thoughts, ball mill?
I would definitely say grind. Through collisions between balls and the materials in the jar, as well as collisions between balls between each other, I promote mixing by grinding reagents into fine powders or pastes.
Now, I'll end with one other open-ended question. what is one fun fact that you didn't get to discuss with our audience today that you would like to share about yourselves?
Well, as the AFM, I actually have the ability to get 3D imaging of these nanoscale surfaces. And in the process, none of the sensitive surfaces are damaged, even in the slightest. Which, think about 3D images of chemical reactions.
Oftentimes, reactions that are very well understood under solvothermal conditions can exhibit altered selectivity when they're carried out in a ball mill. The absence of solvent can give reaction products that one would not normally expect, and this is a pretty interesting phenomenon, and chemists are still trying to figure out why this occurs.
Well, thank you so much for your responses and for your time here with us on the show today. Our audience and myself, thank you so much for all that you do, the benefits that you have contributed to, not just to the scientific community, but to everyone affected by your work that you do. Seriously, thank you so much. I hope all of you have enjoyed this segment on Mechanochem, and we'll be back to discuss all things chemistry with some new surprise guests that will be joining us. Thanks for joining, and the Molar Bears will be back next week.